Last night, I taught a class on how to change the story of your past because I notice a lot of my clients are really struggling with events that happened to them in the past and feeling current pain about those events right now. So I want to just do a brief synopsis of what I taught last night to my concierge clients. Let's start with the basics here, okay? The past is over. It's done. It doesn't affect your present in any way. Events of the past do not affect your present until you have a thought about them. It's your thoughts about events from the past that create the way that you're currently feeling. So your T's about your past create your F's in your model, your feelings right now. Your T's about your past affect you now, not the things that happened in the past. And I know this is true because, like, if you had amnesia and you didn't actually remember events that happened in your past, you would have no painful feelings about things that happened in the past. It's just our thoughts about these things that create these painful feelings. So to reiterate, your past does not affect you right now. It's over. What affects you right now are your thoughts about your past. So let's talk for a few minutes about your thoughts about your past or your story about your past. It matters a lot because your story or your thoughts about your past are really what create your current identity. And it's something worth looking at. Thoughts like, I had no choice, family court is so unfair, he was so abusive. All of those thoughts create the identity of the person that you are today. I'll give you an example with my own life. I have a thought that I've never really explored until I did this exercise that losing weight is hard. So it's created the identity of a middle-aged woman who struggles with her weight. Of course it does. So it's these default thoughts that create our current identity. And that's actually the best news I have for you because all of these thoughts are totally optional. And these are the thoughts that are worth looking at and deciding if you want to keep thinking this way about events of your past. Is it creating the identity that you want today? All right. So the good news about your past is you can keep parts of it that you want and get rid of the rest. You could just retell the story. The events that occurred in your past, the actual factual events that occurred, will always be there. I'm never going to take them away from you. I'm not going to try to sugarcoat them. I'm not going to try to condone if you've had abusive events in your past. Let's just strip them down, get rid of all the thoughts and the story around them, and remember them as just the factual events. He said this, she did this, he hit me, whatever events actually happened. But it's our story about these events that are creating our identity today. And that's the part where you have some latitude and some movement, and you can actually tell the story however you want. And I suggest you tell it in a way that serves you and the person that you want to be today. Example is one of my clients had some abusive events during her marriage. She's now been separated for a few years, and she's starting to see how these events that occurred, these actual abusive events, is changing who she's becoming. Now at work, when she goes into work and she's not treated in a way that she deems respectful, she'll actually stand up for herself. So story for her new story, rather than I'm an abused woman story, is the events from my past, these difficult and arduous moments have actually been the stepping stones for me learning how to create boundaries. Amazing, right? So your story that you can have about these past events is all yours to create in any way that you want. You can do it in a way that serves you. Now, some of you may think this is quite delusional, and I'm going to tell you, yes, it is delusional. But it's not any more delusional than the story you used to have about your past. All stories we have about any events are just our own interpretations, our own delusions of what actually happened, just our own opinions. So you might as well tell a story that serves you and creates the type of identity that you want today. So here's an exercise that you guys can do that you may find helpful. You can take one event from your past, an event that maybe has created a lot of pain for you currently, and tell the story of that event exactly the way you see it right now. And then I want you to separate out the facts from the story. What are the absolute things that happened or didn't happen? Get rid of any of your interpretation, any of your opinions, just the events itself. So we've got like the seed. That's always there. That's your circumstance. And now I want you to tell the story about this circumstance in a way that helps you become and be the person that you want to be today. How did it make you stronger? How does it help you contribute to the world? How did it change who you are? How was it on your path of learning? The rest of it, you can just leave behind.